Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. On behalf of ICK, I would like to welcome you all to our webinar today. It is another special question and answer session with Sheikh Asim al-Hakeem. I would like to thank our Sheikh for accepting the invitation to give our community this special opportunity once again to ask our questions. Today, the question and answer would be on the topic of Ramadan and Zakat. So if you have any questions, you can please type it if you're watching on the Facebook. You can type it in the comment section, or if you are at Zoom, then you can actually do it through the Q&A chat box. A quick introduction: Islamic Center of Kuwait is involved in doing dawah activities in the state of Kuwait in the English language. Sheikh Asim al-Hakeem is one of the prominent scholars and propagators of Islam in the English language. He is a Saudi national residing in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Accredited with a BA in linguistics from King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah in 1987, Sheikh Asim went on to graduate with a higher diploma in Islamic studies from the prestigious Al-Qura University in Mecca, Saudi Arabia in 1998. Currently, Sheikh Asim is an imam of a masjid in Jeddah, a role which he has held for over 30 years, more than 32 years, where Sheikh now delivers the weekly Friday sermons and lectures on various Islamic sciences. Sheikh Asim al-Hakeem also participates regularly in preparing and hosting a number of English Islamic programs such as Question and Answers, Ask Huda, Umdatul Ahkam, Youth Talk, Mercy to the Worlds, among others, on various TV and radio channels such as Al Huda, Peace TV, Iqra, Zad TV, and the Saudi 2 channel. So, Sheikh, with that, let's go, inshallah, to our first question. And the question is from Sister Arina Sultana. Question is: some people break their fast when the sky becomes fully dark, not just after Maghrib Adhan. They say that in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat number 187, it is written to complete our fast till the nightfall. What is the ruling on that, Shaykh?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala al-mab'uthi rahmatan lil alameen. Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Quran cannot be interpreted and understood without referring to the Sunnah. It's a grave and serious mistake that so many people jump the wagon and think that they are qualified to understand the Quran. And this is exactly why all of deviant cults and sects have diverted from the straight path. Based on a single ayah, they misunderstood without referring back to the Quran and to the Sunnah. The Khawarij, the Murji'ah, the Mu'tazila, the Shia, the Rafida, all of them, they depended or understood a particular ayah and neglected to look at the other evidences. And this is the methodology of Ahlul Bid'ati wal Ahwa, those who follow innovation and deviant sects. The Muslims from Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they follow a safer, moderate, and authentic approach by going to the Quran, collecting all evidences that speak about this, going to the Sunnah, reaching out to the clarification of the Prophet ﷺ, and how he acted in similar situations. And we will find that the Prophet ﷺ used to break his fast as soon as the sun has disappeared. Even if there is light in the sky, he used to break his fast and eat, because this is what the actual nightfall is. And the Prophet said ﷺ in an authentic hadith, when the daytime comes from here and the night goes from here, then this is when a person stops eating and drinking. And when the nightfall comes from here and the daytime leaves from here, this is when the time where a person fasts. So this is break his fast, that is nighttime. So this is the criteria, because if the sister reversed it, she will find that she was wrong, or these people were wrong. So now those who do not eat until it's totally dark, by default, once the break of dawn happens and the call of Adhan al-Fajr happens, they will continue to eat and drink until the sun is about to rise. And definitely this is wrong. This is not part of the Sunnah, and their fasting is invalid. Tab, why is it invalid? Because they ate and drank after the break of dawn. So the sky being dark or not is not a criteria, is not a determining factor. The determining factor is when the sun sets. This is when a person who's fasting breaks his fast. And when the break of dawn appears, which is the horizontal light in the horizon, then this is when a person begins his fasting, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question that we have is from Sister Samia. Sheikh, every year I want to fast. I start fasting, and after a few days, I get very unwell, dehydrated, serious stomach pain, and I have to stop fasting. I have approximately missed 110 days of fasting like this. Though I give fidya, I'm still worried as to what I should do. I'm not sure if I can keep 110 days of fast.
I know sisters with 300 days of fast. They've been married for like 14, 15 years. 1 year they're pregnant, the other year they're suckling, the third year they're pregnant, the fourth year they're suckling, and it goes on. And yet, alhamdulillah, now, after their assembly line is out of production, they are making up every Monday, Thursday, 3 days of a month, the white days. And this approximately mounts up to approximately 90 days a year. So in 5 years, they're over with and done. Now, your case, this requires a physician, a Muslim doctor, to comment on you. If the doctor says, yes, this sister has serious chronic illnesses that prevents her from fasting, and she will never ever recover from it, then yes, we tell you not to fast and to make up for the missed days by feeding a poor person per day. But if the doctors say no, she's well, there's nothing hazardous to her health, and after doing the checks, all what we came up with is that she's lazy. She can fast, but she's lazy. She thinks that, oh, I'm dehydrating, I am dizzy, I'm sick. But the doctor says everything is fine. In this case, she should fear Allah Azza wa Jal, and she should do her fasts and make them up as soon as possible.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Brother Zohaib. Does injecting vaccine invalidate your fast?
No. Vaccine, if it is not mixed with glucose and taken through the IV, normal vaccines do not impact your fasting at all.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Brother William Thomas McLean. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Is it permissible to sleep the day away during Ramadan, or must we make up the lost hours of fasting at night time?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. No, akhi, if you sleep during the whole day, your fasting is not affected by that, because what is obligatory upon you to do is to intend fasting the day, which you do before Fajr time, and you refrain from eating, drinking, and the rest of the things that nullify your fasting from the break of dawn till sunset. Whether you're asleep, you're awake, you're at the gym, you're at work. This has no impact on the validity of your fasting. But of course, you have to observe the prayers on time, dhuhr, asr, etc. And you also have to try your level best to utilize your time while fasting instead of spending it sleeping. But the validity, it is still valid.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Next question is from Brother Muhammad Sadman. With which food did the Prophet ﷺ break his fast?
The Prophet ﷺ, as mentioned in the authentic hadiths, used to break his fast on 3 pieces of rutab, which is ripe date, the yellow type or the red type. This is called rutab. And if not, then he would take dates in odd numbers, of course, 3, 5, 7, whatever. And if not, then he would sip few sips of water. This is what the Prophet used to break his fast upon, alayhi salatu salam.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Sister Sally. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I own my zakat in Ramadan. Will it be okay to distribute small amounts to many poor people throughout the whole month, or am I to pay it all at once?
This depends. If your date due for zakat is on the 1st of Ramadan, you have to pay it all at once. If your due date is on the 30th of Ramadan, so from the beginning of the month, you can distribute it as you wish without any problem, inshallah azza wa jal.
Jazakallah khair. The next question is from Sister Nadia. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. May Allah reward and protect you. I want to start a baking business soon. If I sell cakes or cookies that are for Mother's Day or birthday or Ramadan, is it permissible for me?
There is a difference between Mother's Day, birthdays, and Ramadan. There's no problem in baking cookies for Ramadan or for Eid. This is not something prohibited. Baking it specifically when you're knowing that it is going to be used for birthdays or anniversaries or haram celebrations, this is not permissible. Therefore, when someone comes and says, bake me a cake, it's none of your business to say, what for? Is it for a birthday? Is it for an anniversary? Is it for this or that? No, this is not it's not of your business. But if they come and say to you, please bake us a cake and put happy birthday so and so, or forever lasting anniversary or whatever. No, this is not permissible. You can simply decline and say, I apologize, but I cannot participate in this. But if someone says to you, just bake me a cake, no problem in doing that at all.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from a youth, Faizan Sharif. I have my most important exams till now in my life, inshallah, right after Eid. I need to prepare for it during Ramadan, and I'm worried that I may lose the strength for preparation. What is the ruling for me?
There's no problem, Akhi. As long as you are not interested in paradise and have no problem in going to hell, you have no problem. You can skip fasting. The most important exam in my life. What is your life? The most important exam in your life is what you're living at the moment, which the results would be known after your death, whether you go to paradise or go to hell. Exam. And you're afraid of losing concentration. What are you going to do? Applying for NASA? Are you making an atomic bomb? What exams are you talking about? Get a life, my friend. This is not how Muslims act and react to tests of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah has created that in this life to be tested. No exam on earth would justify that you break your fast. And it's not the exam that is making you break your fast, it's a preparation. So even if what you find a sheikh, these drive-through sheikhs, who would say, okay, you can, this is a necessity, it's your job, it's your career, it's okay, you can break a fast. So the second step for shaitan is waking up for Fajr is problematic. Fajr is 3 o'clock in Kuwait maybe, or whatever. No, so can I skip that so that I can get my energy? You'll find another sheikh would say, okay, and then said, wallahi, the 5 prayers altogether, the concept itself, it's difficult, man. It's burdensome. What is left of your religion, O Muslim? The answer is no. This is totally not permissible. And it is totally an indication of your lack of iman. Where does your intellect comes from? Where does success come from? It comes from Allah. It's like, with all due respect, Danny, excuse my French, a prostitute coming and saying, Wallahi, Sheikh, it's difficult to fast during the daytime of Ramadan. Business is tough these days, and we have to always be ready. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Are you a Muslim? What is this? Rizq comes from Allah. If a thief, a burglar, someone who sells drugs, he says, I have to make a living, then you don't know who Allah is. And you made your choice between hell and heaven. So, Akhi, I apologize for being a little bit coming rude or a little bit strong, but this is a wake-up call. No exam on earth justifies not obeying Allah, not fulfilling the pillars of Islam at all. And Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Sheikh, the next question is slightly off the topic, but the sister is worried, so I'm putting this in front of you. I have a family history of blood disorder, hemophilia, in which the blood does not clot normally, and this is an incurable medical disorder. I am a carrier of this disorder, and my father died because of this. There are 50% chances that my male child will be affected with this. My gynecologist has told me that at the 3rd month of pregnancy, they will do the test and they will find out if the child is affected by this incurable disease. If that's the case, the gynecologist is advising for abortion. What is the ruling on me?
Well, this is something that requires going through the type of disease and the impact on the child. But if I understand it correctly, there's a 50%. Why would I go for the negative 50% instead of being positive and thinking well of Allah and making dua and hoping for the best? Besides, this is not something that a child would be born without a brain or without any hands or legs and cannot see and deaf and mute and dumb and whatever. No, he's a normal child, but he has a sort of blood deficiency, which might be fatal, might not be fatal. So I don't see any reason to believe what these doctors are saying. And I believe that trusting Allah is the best thing. And believing in that Allah can change things with dua. And life is a test. So I believe that you should not go for abortion, as this is not a life-threatening situation for you as a mother. And for the child, it is also 50-50, and we hope for the best, and Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Zakaria. Sheikh, can I use my zakat to pay my brother-in-law's debt?
If this debt is not interest-based, because a lot of the Muslims nowadays don't care whether they borrow from a bank in interest or a halal loan. So the vast majority of them, they opt for mortgage. They buy houses for £100,000 or more. And then they go before Ramadan begging their relatives for help to pay off the debt. No, this is not permissible. You cannot participate in paying off someone's interest-based loan. But if the loan was taken due to a necessity, but not interest-based. So I borrowed money because my wife needed surgery. I didn't have social medical insurance, and I didn't have the means to. I borrowed to do this. Now I'm in debt. No problem. Give him zakah. I ran out of money and I had to borrow to pay off the rent. Give him zakah. I needed to get my daughter married. Didn't have any funds, no savings. Give him zakat. No problem. But to buy a Lexus and 2021 Escalade, Platinum Sports, top of the line, on installments. And then before Ramadan, I said, guys, I need money. What for, Sheikh? Wallahi, I have lots of installments to be paid. It's a debt. Oh, okay. Can we give you from zakat? Nope. This was taken for luxury. I'm going to the south of Spain for a month. I borrowed 20,000, 20,000 is a lot, 2,000 Kuwaiti dinars. And now I'm back, I need to pay them off. This is not a necessity. So it cannot be given part of the zakat because it was acquired for luxury and for nonsense. So yes, if your brother-in-law is indebted and is in need because he lost his business and the debtors want their money or something of the nature which is halal and legitimate, no problem, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Sai, and the question is that, Sheikh, my mother wants to use her zakat money to help someone in the family get a girl married in the family by buying furniture and washing machine, etc. Is that permissible?
This is known in India as a dowry, which is a Hindu custom where the girl and her family are obliged to buy things to the groom, to the man. And this is totally prohibited. The man comes, proposes to the girl, and then they start collecting money. And when they come to me and said, Sheikh, we need this money to marry our daughter to this guy. I said, yeah, but this is a lot of money. Why do you need this? Buy her some dresses, some home clothes, and some needed things. That's it. The dowry is being paid by the man. The wedding is being sponsored and paid off totally by the man. This is the man's job. They said, Sheikh, we have customs. What kind of customs? Well, it's a Hindu custom. So the groom comes in, he proposes. If we accept, he says, okay, I need a 2021 Corolla GTX with a hybrid, with a monitor and GPS, and I need furniture of the house. We need like 4 split units and an oven. And you need what? What is this? So this is the customs. No, this is totally haram. No man, no Muslim man accepts this. Otherwise, men would be happy jumping around and marrying women like crazy because they're being their sugar mommy, providing for us. This is totally haram. The term is sugar daddy. I get the woman, I take care of all of her financial needs, wedding, dowry, gold. She pays not a single penny. Now, okay, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair for the answer. Barakallah fiqh. But Sheikh, it's not like this. In India, if we don't give the man money, our daughters won't be married. Ya Latif, there are no Muslims in India? Yes, Sheikh, but you know, they're all following deviant sects and they're all greedy and they don't care about Islam. If Islam says this and that and the bank says this and that, they would follow what the bank says. Well, if this is the case, then it is a necessity. You must help that person to get his daughter married while resenting such so-called men who are not actually men, who are classified as male. because they can't be labeled as men. No man would do that. But as an outsider, yeah, I would help such a family and give them money, because this becomes under a necessity and it's permissible to assist them from zakat if this is the case, and Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for your clarification. This is a prevailing issue in our societies. Jazakallah khair. The next question is from Sister Rabia. I have lost a gold ring somewhere in my house. Should I include it in my zakat calculation?
No, it cannot be included, because one of the conditions that zakat is mandatory is to have full possession on the wealth. So if I want money from the government and the government has been stalling for 3-4 years, there's no zakat on it. If I were to bury my fortune somewhere in the desert, somewhere in an oasis, somewhere in a diwaniya, so I put all of my cash in stack and bury it, and a couple of months later, whoa, Alzheimer hits me. I don't know, wallah, where it is. And I forget it for 10-15 years trying to look for it. There's no zakat in it. And if I find it after 15 years, eureka, that's good, mashallah, I'm lucky. I don't give zakat for 15 years. I give zakat only for this entire period for once. And then I start on. Likewise, and I don't, I hope I'm not answering all your questions, so you come and say, oh, Khalif, Sheikh, we're out of questions. Likewise, if someone comes, and this happened a couple of weeks ago, a brother who is one of the elders in our community, he's almost, mashallah, 80 years of age or so. So he came to me, he said, Sheikh Asim, I have a problem. So what's the problem? He says, like 20-30 years ago, a colleague at work asked me for a loan. So I gave him 40,000. And I totally forgot about it. And he totally did not mention it to me. So now after 20-30 years, his son came to me yesterday and he says, my dad says, Jazakallahu khairan. And he returned them and I said, what is this? He said, this is something he borrowed from you decades ago. So he said, I don't know what to do, Sheikh. Should I give zakat for every single year of these 20 or 30 years? 2.5% multiplied by 10 or 20, this is 50% of the amount. What should I do? So the answer is, like Sheikh Ibrahim says, that it has the same ruling as the buried wealth that people forget about. Because you don't have any recollection of, and you don't have any possession of it, real possession, then there is no zakat on it, except once you collect it back, and Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from two participants in our community, two members of the community. Can a daughter pay zakah to the parents as they are very old and have no sources of income, and in our calculation eligible for zakah?
Okay, the scholars say that zakat cannot be given to your origins nor your branches. This is a rough translation from Arabic to English. What origins, what branches? Are we in a tree? It's like a tree. So if I am the tree, al-usul, where I'm descended from, so my parents, my mother, my father, my grandfather, my grandmother, I cannot give them zakat. And the branches, those who descended from me, my children, my grandchildren, I cannot give them zakat. Why? Well, the rule is that it is my responsibility as a parent, whether a father or a mother, to provide for my children and for my parents. This is my responsibility. So if I have money and I have zakat, I cannot give them from the zakat, because I would be hitting two birds with one stone. Rather, I'm supposed to give from my own hard-earned money to them, as it's part of my duty to provide for them, and Allah knows best. With the exception that some scholars said that only when my parents or my children have debts on them that I can pay off their debts. Because paying off my parents' debts or my children's debts does not come within the obligatory providing for them. I'm not obliged to pay their debts, so it's not my responsibility. Therefore, I can give them from the zakat if the debts are halal, etc., like I've mentioned a while ago.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is that is there a difference between Qiyamul Layl, Taraweeh, and Tahajjud?
This is a frequently asked question. There's an umbrella, and underneath the umbrella, there are things. So the umbrella is night prayer. And all those that come under the umbrella are considered to be night prayer, such as Taraweeh. And this is prayed in congregation after Isha prayer in the masjid with the Muslims. This is why we call it Taraweeh. Number 2, Tahajjud. And this is usually prayed in the last third of the night after a person sleeps and wakes up, usually. But if he doesn't sleep, there's no problem. So this is called Tahajjud. And there is Witr. And Witr prayer is to conclude whatever night prayer, Tahajjud prayer, Taraweeh prayer we have offered, to conclude it with Witr. So all of this is called and recognized as night prayer as the general name, but the different categories of it, and Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is that from a sister, after my husband's demise, I received some insurance money. Do I owe zakat on this?
No, you don't. Until a full year passes and it's in your possession. So if they give you today 1 million Kuwaiti dinars, there's no zakat on it. If this amount or some of it stays with you until next year, same date, same time, then you have to give zakat on that.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Brother Sabaruddin. I had 2 years worth of saving and I gave zakah on the first year, on 1 year. However, in the meantime, I have used 2/3 of the remaining amount. Am I obliged to pay on the 1/3 that is in my possession, or for the entire amount that I had for the last 2 years?
There are 2 conditions for zakat to be obligatory. Number 1, it reaches the threshold. There is a threshold, no zakah, no zakah, no zakah, no zakah. Once we reach the threshold, you have to pay zakat or more. What is the threshold of cash money? The value of 595 grams of silver. So if I have cash that is worth approximately, give or take, few dinars, if you have 200 dinars, then you have to pay zakat. 200 and more. This is condition number 1. Condition number 2, that a full lunar year passes while it is in your possession. So if I had 3,000 dinars, the first year I gave 2.5% zakat. The second year started 1st of Ramadan last year. It would end this 1st Ramadan this year. During this, the 3,000 dinars, I spent 2,000 dinars, and now I have remaining with me 1,000 dinars. So once 1st of Ramadan comes, I have to give zakat. How much do I have? Well, the amount that 1 year passed is 1,000. The other 2,000 are not with me. Then you give zakat only on 1,000 that you possess.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Brother Muhammad in USA. I want to know, if I get invited for iftar party, should the male guests go to masjid to break the fast, or just pray at home with the other guests?
If the masjid is adjacent and near, it is mandatory upon all to go and eat, to go and pray in the masjid, unless the food is served. So The hadith is crystal clear. Hadith of Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him and with his father. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, إِذَا حَضَرَ الْعَشَاء فَقَدِّمُوا الْعَشَاء. So whenever Isha prayer and dinner, Asha, conflict, then you have to begin with the dinner. If Maghrib time, we served the food and everybody is sitting and eating, and the masjids usually give like 15 minutes, and this is way, way more enough than to be filled and to fulfill your desire. So you eat, and after 10, 12 minutes, you go to the masjid. But if the masjid gives iqama in 5 minutes, very quick, after the adhan, 2-3 minutes, which is not even sufficient to eat and dates and drink some milk or some water, in this case, no. Stay, eat until you're satisfied, and then pray together in congregation.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is that actually it is a similar question from two sisters, so I will try to combine it. My husband is under heavy debt, and he is suggesting that I should give my zakat to him. That is from one sister. The other sister is that my husband is under heavy debt, and I have gold in my possession. Am I required to give zakat on the gold or help my husband?
First question is similar to second question, but the second question, let's start with it. Who owns the gold, oh sister? It's you, not your husband. So it's the obligation of the owner of the gold to pay the zakat. So Sheikh, I don't have an income. All what I have is 6 kilograms of gold. That's not fair. 6 kilograms of gold. What are you talking about? Crazy? You should sell some of it and pay your zakat on your own. If your husband strikes, as we say, the Arabs, on his chest and says, I'll do it, honey, it's none of your business, alhamdulillah, it's a gift from him, but it's not an obligation. Now, going back to the first sister, if the debts of your husband are legitimate, he lost in trade, he didn't have money to do this, halal things, I'm not going to repeat again the scenarios. The answer is, it is permissible for you to pay off his debts from your zakat. And the hadith is crystal clear. Zainab, the wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, came and knocked on the door of the Prophet ﷺ. So Bilal came and said, "O Prophet of Allah, Zainab is outside requesting permission to speak." So the Prophet said, "Ayyu zawanib," which Zainab, there's so many of them. So he said, the wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. So she came in and she said, "O Prophet of Allah, my husband is stone broke and he doesn't have any money. So can I give him from my zakat?" The Prophet said, yes. So yes, you can give your husband from zakat if he qualifies to be one of the 8 categories mentioned in chapter 9, verse 60. Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 60. There are 8 categories mentioned in the Quran that are the recipients of zakat. If he qualifies to be one of them, yes, you can go ahead and give it to him.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from an anonymous attendee. I feel really sick because of sugar level and feel weak, have terrible headache because of gastro. If I keep fast, I would be in pain all day. Is it further upon me to fast?
This is, again, not for me to ask, to answer. This is for the doctors. I am not a physician, so I'm not at liberty to say, yeah, you can fast, or no, you shouldn't fast. This is for a Muslim doctor to say, first of all, what kind of diabetes do you have? If you're the type of a person who, after 2 or 3 hours fasting, his sugar level goes down and he faints or probably is in serious danger, in this case, no doctor would say, yeah, fast. No sheikh would say, yes, fast. It's a chronic illness. Akhi, you're exempted, pay every day a meal to a poor person for every day you miss of Ramadan. But this is not for me to say. This is for the doctors to analyze and to check and to come with a conclusion. And afterwards, you ask us what to do, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Brother Taha in India. In our area, there is a Hanafi mosque that do Siren 3 to 4 minutes after the sunset in Ramadan. Should I break fast at the sunset or at their Siren?
No, you have nothing to do with the siren. Siren is for Jews. We're Muslims. So if some countries, they blast a cannon, like in Egypt and in Jordan, and they have a cannon. So at the time of sunset, a bomb, boom. And then they ask where the terrorists came from. I don't know. No, this is not part of the Sunnah. We're Muslims. We break our fast when we hear the adhan. We refrain from eating and drinking when we hear the adhan. This is what controls our fasting, and Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Brother Firdaus. If I want to feed some poor people because of my mother who could not keep fasting due to her sickness, can I feed them at the end of the month, or do I have to feed every day during the month of Ramadan?
It's up to you. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, used to feed because at the end of his life, he got so old, fragile, he was blind. So he used to finish Ramadan, and at the end of Ramadan, after Ramadan, he would gather 30 poor Muslims, cook food for them, and let them eat from it. So you can do either one. Either after sunset of day one, you feed, or you collect all of it at the last. But never feed up front. This is not valid. Some people come, they say, okay, I have a chronic illness. I have kidney problems. I can't fast forever. Doctors say, I'm exempted from fasting. Good. You have to feed. So they come on the first day of Ramadan, they gather 30 poor people and feed them. This does not suffice except for the first day. The other 29 is charity, because you cannot expiate until the ibadah, the worship, the day is over. And Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Brother Abdul Rahman. At what age should children start to fast? I mean, what is the minimum and maximum age to start fasting?
This depends on children. First of all, they cannot be left alone, not fasting, after reaching the age of puberty. So this is the max. Once they reach the age of puberty, it becomes mandatory. When or how young we should tell them, this differs from one kid to the other. I have grandchildren of mine that started fasting when they were 5 or 6 years of age. Voluntary. Nobody pushed them. It was just a challenge for them. And since then, mashallah, they're still fasting. And I have grandchildren that were 11 years of age and they used to break their fasting at midday. So it differs from one person to the other. You have to train them, coach them, and try your level best. And Allah Azza wa Jalla would make it easy, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from Brother Abdullah Bashir. Can I give all my zakat to one person?
Yes, no problem, as long as he's needy. See, sometimes when I have $1,000 and I give each family, 100 family, I give each one 10, 10, 10. I distributed my $1,000 to the needy. Did any one of these 100 families benefit from my $10 each? No. So sometimes I have to utilize and look into who would benefit. So if I have 100 families, but I know that if I divide the 1,000 over 4 families, 250 each, they would be able to pay off the rent, or one would buy the sufficient medication for a whole month, or one would buy food for the whole year. So I would fulfill each family of these 3 or 4 families needs, rather than distribute it over a large amount of Muslims who are not going to benefit that much from it, and Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Next question is from Brother Amir. What is the best time to make dua in Ramadan and have the highest chance for the dua to be accepted?
The times of dua are the same throughout the whole year, with the exception of when you break your fast. So the Prophet told us, when you break your fast, this is most likely to be answered. So I've got the dates in front of me. The adhan has 1 minute left. So I start making dua, because now I am at the time of breaking my fast. And I make dua, The adhan is given, I say Bismillah, and I eat. This is my left. Of course, I'm not eating. So I eat with my right hand. I say Bismillah, khalas. This is the time of acceptance. This is a premium time. Secondly, in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, where we are hoping that we attain Laylatul Qadr, the night of decree. Mother Aisha said, "O Prophet of Allah, if I were to attain Laylatul Qadr, what should I say?" He said to her, say, Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. The dua that you all guys know. So yes, you should look for that time. Other than that, the sky is the limit. Between adhan and iqama of every fard, this is accepted. At the last third portion of the night, this is accepted. When it rains, this is accepted. When you wake up from sleep to do tahajjud, oh, this is one of the best times to make dua if you can remember, because most people just walk to the toilet, make wudu, do their thing, then come. Astaghfirullah, I should have said the dua the moment I woke up and said the dhikr, then the dua, but they forget. It takes time to remember that, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is again a little bit off the subject, but the sister seems to be a bit worried. I'm trying to conceive for the last 3 years. Some people recommend me to pray istikhara, and some tell me to pray tahajjud. What should I do?
These two things have nothing to do with conceiving. You have to do IVF. Your husband has to work overtime. Istikhara is a misconception among most Muslims. Istikhara is not asking Allah to do something for you. Istikhara is whether I should buy this bottle or this iPod, I think it's called. I don't know. I should pray istikhara. No, wrong. What should I do? Focus. What do you want to do? Well, actually, I think I go for the iPods. Yeah, sure. Khalas, yeah, definitely, I want to buy this. Now you pray istikhara. And in your istikhara, you're actually asking Allah, begging Allah Azza wa Jal to make it happen. If there's any good in it for you, oh Allah, make it happen for me. If not, then let it go away and take my passion away from it and decree what is best for me, and let me be happy with that. That's it. Has nothing to do with the water. Tahajjud is night prayer. Of course, night prayer is the ultimate time for begging Allah. So yes, you can ask Allah Azza wa Jal whatever you want. But again, it has nothing to do with IVF specifically. It has to do with paying off your debts, of making your husband a righteous one, to protect you from your mother-in-law's abuse, everything, the whole 9 yards. But not specifically for conceiving. Conceiving is just making dua through the 5 daily prayers. When you're making sujood, or your voluntary prayers, when you're making sujood, make dua, and Allah is all hearing and all seeing, subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for the clarification. The next question is from Brother Farid. Sheikh, after making the intention to fast, can I still eat or drink till Fajr adhan?
Of course. Full stop.
All right. So next question is from Brother Shahul Hamid. Can zakat money be given to extremely needy non-Muslims who are not enemies of Islam?
No. The only category of the non-Muslims who we can give zakat is known as وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةُ قُلُوبُهُم. These are those whom their hearts are inclined to accept Islam. So if I have a worker, a co-worker, a non-Muslim janitor, a tribesman, the head of his tribes, a king, a president, a CEO, whatever, he's a non-Muslim, and I see clearly that he's inclined to Islam. He talks to me positively about Islam. I wish I can accept Islam, blah, blah, blah. And I'm genuinely thinking and considering that this guy is a potential Muslim. So I can give him from Zakat. If he needs money, if I would think and hope that this money would draw him closer to Islam and accepting Islam. This is totally permissible, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The next question is from brother Muhammad Asif Iqbal. I am buying land on installments. The complete installments will be in 6 years. He has not specified the time, but certain time into paying the installments. Do I pay zakat on the full amount or the installments that I have paid?
There is no zakat, none whatsoever. Why would you pay zakat on something you're buying? This brings us to what is more important than Q&A, to understand what to pay zakat on. So what are the 4 categories of wealth that I'm supposed to pay zakat? See, if I tell you and explain it to you, you don't have to come back to me and ask me questions. It's best for me to teach you how to fish rather than to give you a fish every single day, whether hamur or najl, doesn't make any difference. Therefore, how much time do you have left?
Sheikh, we have 3 minutes, but I think this is an important question. So you might kill many birds with one stone. Okay.
So you need to understand the concept of everything you do, so you don't have to come back to me. Sheikh, I would like to pray in the masjid, but I have a cigarette packet in my pocket. So does this nullify my wudu? Excuse me? Yeah, I know cigarettes is haram, so I smoke a cigarette. Should I renew my wudu? Akhi, if you know that wudu is broken by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then anytime I bring you 6 or 7 or 8 or 10, you say, no, this doesn't break wudu. Only these 5 things break wudu. So khalas, now you have a fish. You know how to fish. Likewise, when we come to zakat, what should I pay zakat on? Oh, Sheikh, I have 3 plots in India. Oh, Sheikh, I have bought a house on mortgage. Should I pay zakat? Oh, Sheikh, my wife is getting an investment with so-and-so. Once you understand what are the wealth to give zakat on, you've got it made. You don't need to ask a sheikh. So what are the things that we have to give zakat on? 4 things. Number 1, you can write it down if you wish. Who cares, sheikh? Who's watching? I don't think there's anybody watching. Anyhow, gold and silver. These are the 2 most important minerals and metals in the world, because all finances and currencies revolve around them since the beginning of time, and it will at the end of the time. So any gold or silver, or what carries the role of gold and silver, such as banknotes, currency, this is category 1. You have to give zakat. Conditions: threshold, 1 year possession, etc. Does this include women's jewelry? It's an issue of dispute, whether they're wearing it or not. But the most authentic opinion is even the jewelry, they have to be paid, because gold and silver is the essence of economy in the world. Category number 2, livestock, cattle, camels, cows and buffaloes, sheep and goats. These have conditions. Sheikh, we don't have any livestock. Can you move on? No problem. But if you had, you have to come and ask me, and I'll tell you how many cows, how many sheep, how many camels that you're supposed to give, what are the conditions of that. Because if I have a farm of 100 sheep, the threshold of sheep is 40. So I have a farm of 100. Do I give zakat? No. It should be grazing from Allah's plants around. But if I buy the grass for it to eat, there's no zakat in it. But this is not our point. Number one, gold, silver, and currency. Number two, livestock. Number three, vegetables or fruit or corn or what they call it? Seeds? Hubub. What is hubub? I don't know. Who cares? Things that are what? The what?
Grains or seeds is fine.
Grains. Yeah, grains. Ahsan. Very good. Yeah, I'm not practicing English, so I'm forgetting it. I think I should get married again. Anyhow, no, I'm just joking. So grains, corn, wheat, barley, dates, and raisin. These are zakatable if I have a farm. So if I have oranges, no zakat. Apples, no zakat. Tomatoes, no zakat. Watermelons, no zakat. And there are conditions, of course, whether I am watering it myself or it's being watered from the heavens, from the skies, or half. This is a different. Sheikh, we don't have farms. Okay, let's skip that. Category number 4, whatever is prepared for trade, meaning I sell and buy and sell and buy. So my money is actually being invested in a grocery shop. Can I have some cheese? Here you go. And I buy another and I put in its place. So the wealth keeps on revolving, increasing, and I'm getting profit out of that. Anything that is prepared for trade is zakatable. Right. Let's a little bit focus on this, Sheikh. Jazakallah khair. Can you explain a little bit, elaborate? No problem. You've just said that I have 3 plots. I have a house that I'll be possessing in 6 years' time. And you said there's no zakat, neither on the installments nor on the plot. But yeah. Why, Sheikh? Akhi, I said, read my lips. I'm not angry, but who cares? I said that these items must be devoted solely for making money, selling, buying, selling, buying. So if I have my car and someone comes to me and says, Sheikh, wow, beautiful car, would you sell it? I didn't have any intention prior to that for selling it. So I said, yeah, I don't know. He said, I'll give you 100,000 riyals. And the car is worth 50,000. 100,000? Done deal, man. Alhamdulillah. Go. So do I have to pay zakat? Nope. Sheikh, you just sold it. Yes, I sold it not to make money and buy another one and auction it for sale and buy another one and another one. No. If someone comes to me and says, Sheikh, your headscarf is very beautiful. By the way, this is from Kuwait. I bought it a couple of years ago and I need a replacement. So I have to come to Kuwait soon because this is the only place it's sold in. Anyhow, I don't know Mubaraki or Hamidi. I don't know what's
we miss you here, Sheikh. We miss you here.
soon, inshallah, soon, inshallah. So someone says, Sheikh, I love your headscarf. Would you take $100 for it? I said, $100, take it. It's not for sale, but I'm selling it because I got a good proposal. This is different than someone like myself having a showroom. And I get cars from Dubai, from Germany, from Los Angeles, and I put them. And I sell cars. And then the money I get, I buy other cars. So the rotation is for making money. Going back to the original question, Sheikh, I have 3 plots in India. Do I pay zakat? What is the purpose of owning them? Well, I don't know. I got a bonus 5 years ago, so I bought one. And last year, I saw it cheap, I bought it. And now I have a third one. So what is your intention? Are you displaying it for people and real estate agents to buy from you? I want this price to sell. No, 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 no. I may build a house. I may build a building and rent it. I may invest it in the future. I may give it to some of my children. There's no zakat in it. Okay. What about the plot or the building I'm paying installments for 6 years? If you have the cash money in your hand and a full year rotates while you're possessing it, in order to pay it, you have to give zakat. But if not, I don't have any savings. Every year, just before the deadline, I save from my salary and I give it to the contractor or the construction agency. Okay, after 6 years, what happens? The house is mine. Are you doing this to sell it and make money and then buy another house? No, 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 no. I want to live in it. There's no zakat, nor on the installments, nor on the real estate itself. So I hope this teaches you how to fish.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. That really clarifies a lot of points. And what I wrote, just to recap, is that number one, where we have to pay zakat, gold and silver or equivalent. Number two is the livestock with conditions, as you said. Number three is farm vegetables, grains, dates, and raisins, specifically. And number four, which was
let me interrupt you. Not all farm vegetables, yani cucumbers, lettuce, etc. These things, no. The condition is that it should be weighed, size or weight, and it can be saved, stored. So dates, I can store them for a whole year. The raisins, they're dry, I can store them. Grains, I can store them. But anything that is fresh, lemon, oranges, watermelon, all of these are unzakatable.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for clarification. And the last point, number four, which is pertinent to many questions actually that Jazakallah for you have answered, mashallah. Whatever is prepared for trade is zakat eligible, where wealth keeps on revolving. So I think that clarifies it. We have run over time and we really appreciate your time here, Sheikh, for the community. We really miss you here in Kuwait. Hopefully, once the restrictions are down, then we would like to welcome you here again. You're part of this community, part of this family. I would like to also thank all the attendees here. We have answered, I think, more than 45, 50 questions here, but still there are about 30 pending. I apologize that we could not take it, but inshallah, next time. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for your time.
Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullah khair for having me. And I wish all the community in Kuwait and elsewhere to have a safe Ramadan bi'idhnillah. And I pray to Allah that He uplifts this illness and this disease and this tribulation and calamity from all of humanity and specifically from the Muslims, and restores our safety and our well-being so that we can meet inshallah again. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.